my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
They're here.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It's showtime.
Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the VHS Strikes Back. I am one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host and very good friend is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to the VHS Strikes Back, the show where we dust off the old video player and go on a nostalgic journey to look at the good and the bad movies of yesteryear. Now, Chris, what are we going to review this week?
Well, Dave, this is a Patreon pick by our good friend Herb and a loyal supporter of myself and you, as they nearly said there, Dave. That doesn't make any sense. And he's picked another Aussie classic movie, and I'm doing the air quotes classic Aussie movie. We're going back to 1986, Dave. This is a comedy, allegedly. It was written and directed by a husband and wife team, David Parker and Nadia Tass. It was her directorial debut. I don't know what I'm saying next. I've never heard of her. It stars Colin Friels, Dave, John Hargreaves, and Linda Davis. This one is called Malcolm. And just as a footnote, the full movie at 1 hour, 22 minutes is available on YouTube. Need I say more? So, Dave, had you even heard of this movie before Herb threw it across our bow?
Like all the classics, free on YouTube. So I had not. That said, I reckon maybe not 86, but 89, 90. If this had been on, I was gorging everything Australian. I was watching a lot of Neighbours, Home and Away. That was an absolute staple, must watch around that time. So with this coming out just before, I think I'd maybe watch this. And I think you shots fired from you already about the comedy thing, but I think there's something sort of charming about it that is, when you're a kid, you just had lots more fucking time that you just didn't realize or appreciate at the time. And so I used to watch any old fucking shit back in the day. And, I could have well seen myself watching this, but I am pretty sure this has never aired on UK TV, or it might have done, but, fucking BBC 2 at 3 o'clock in the morning or something. But yeah, I hadn't heard of this one at all. How about yourself, Chris?
No, never heard of it. And obviously I will talk about it in the review, but it feels familiar. I think you're right. This has never been shown on UK TV. Won loads of awards. 1980 Australian Film Institute Award for Best Film. 7 other awards there. Best Original Screenplay, Best Director. And you think, irrespective of whatever we think of the movie, you would think that the name is quite easy to remember. It would pass down as it's a bit of a cult classic, because there was a lot of Aussie TV stuff moved over. Wasn't there? A lot of movies, I always say to you about BMX Bandits. I absolutely love that movie. But there was the TV, Neighbours, Home and Away, especially Neighbours around when this would have come out. I was fully in on Charlie, and she was my original stirring of the Chris Phelps loins, Dave. So even as a young lad, like 9, 10 hour clock.
They had so many, didn't they? I mean, I quite was it
Kylie.
Jane? And
she's been back in it playing Jane, yeah.
Oh, really? And I mean, when Natalie Imbruglia came on,
fucking hell. Beth, she was
Beth.
called Beth.
Yeah,
Beth.
yeah.
Oh, my God. I was torn. My fucking shoulder was torn out watching it. Oh, fucking hell. Amazing. Amazing she was. Straight pun that, wasn't it, there? The old Christmas cracker one. But yeah. Oh, loved her. Loved Natalie Imbruglia. But
yeah.
I remember her doing on MTV Unplugged a live version of Torn, and she'd had her hair chopped because she always had it quite long. Obviously, when she became like a pop star, it was a bit like a bob. And she just had this like shimmer makeup on with very subtle makeup, but she had this probably like a lip gloss thing. Oh my God, Dave, at the time, I'd never seen a woman so sexy. I was about 13, 14, early 90s. Oh my God, Lob on City wasn't even in it, Dave. I was fucking... Oh, I was like fucking Thundercock, honestly. I was fucking loving. She was gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
I feel like I've just inadvertently unlocked a dormant memory.
Thundercock, that's a new one, but there you go, Dave. Anyway.
But yeah, she was rather fetching, I would say, back in the day. I didn't go unnoticed from young Dave either. But Chris, should we get into our trailer?
Let's go, you bloody drongo.
In the outer suburbs of Melbourne, land of neighbours, meat pies, and creatures that can kill you, lives Malcolm, a genius, a loner, a man with a fetish for trams.
He doesn't talk much. I'll give him a toaster and a lawnmower engine and a bin, and he'll turn it into a gateway vehicle. All right, Mary Poppins. We're in trouble this week.
He's brilliant. He's misunderstood. And he's building public transport in his shed for fun.
He's like MacGyver. MacGyver never left his house and got banned from the tram museum for asking too many questions.
But when two small-time crooks move in, Malcolm finally finds his crew. Together, they plan the most low-stakes, overly polite bank robbery in cinematic history.
It's the Italian job, and if it was made for $5 and powered entirely by toaster and hope, that's supposed to be Michael Caine, Dave.
I was going to say it sounded like Michael Caine. Only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
That's it, yeah. I'm totally off then.
There's remote control bins, car-spitting gadgets, and a trolley that defines the laws of physics and good taste.
It's like someone watched Ocean's 11 and said, yeah, but what if the crew had social energy of a damp Weetabix? Oh, where is Cockney
Malcolm.
Dunk?
The cult Aussie classic that proves even a socially anxious tram spotter can live a life of crime if he had enough milk crates.
Coming soon from a tape you found in a box labelled Grandad's Favourites Do Not Bin. Phil Mitchell, go on, Dave. This is brilliant.
Rated G for gadgets, goofballs, and glorious nonsense.
And remember, this is the only heist movie where the real getaway vehicle is on a fixed track and stops at all the scheduled stops.
Malcolm, an autistic mechanic with an unwavering obsession for trams, finds his quiet life upended when he's fired from the Metropolitan Transit Authority. His offence? Daring to construct and test a homemade miniature tram using company time and materials. Suddenly, jobless and alone after his mother's passing, Malcolm is urged by a local shopkeeper to take in a boarder. Now, Chris, what do you reckon to the opening of this movie?
Well, you know, Dave, I'll be honest, it feels very familiar. I don't know whether it's because we've done a lot of these like Aussie-based movies, haven't we? And I was like, is it, you know, I've seen this before. I knew the name meant nothing to me watching the trailer last week, but it felt very familiar. But I will say, I know it's a movie, and we talked, obviously we've done a late fees episode this week. One of the movies we covered, The Red Rocket, Dave, reminds me of my younger days. It had a budget of $1 million, which I was impressed with the cinematography. This has got a budget of $1 million. It made like nearly $4 million at the Aussie box office, all these awards. But it doesn't feel like a movie. It feels like an episode of a TV show. You know, the way it's made.
Yeah.
I know obviously it's down to the finance and the way they're shot and everything, but it doesn't really feel like a movie. I think what I get out of it straight away is I think I've told this story, or maybe I haven't, or maybe I've not said it on the podcast, but I know someone, Dave, who this situation where Malcolm's built a tram. I don't know someone who's built a tram in his own time and nicked stuff from work, but I know someone that may have been acquiring certain football kits from a football stadium that's near me, and they would have a list of people what they needed, and every day they'd get patted down, Dave, for the sound of actual plastic. But what they didn't realise was the security was that person was wearing the kits underneath his clothes, Dave, and every day, see you tomorrow. And he supplied most people in Old Trafford and Furswood, allegedly, Dave. So this did ring a bell. I was laughing to myself going, yeah, I've known this. I've heard where people have actually built cars at home. People are working like old school would work in, like, say, a Ford factory building cars, but they'd take a part home with them and all this, and then they'd build a car or get to a point where they could build a car. Just silly things like that. I know certain things is heavy, like engines and that, but there was a thing. I think there's even a joke on Fools and Horses. I think it's Uncle Albert says that. Someone every day they check this guy's fucking box, and then be like, did he take anything? And he said something, and at the end of it, he says basically he was nicking a box a day, but they were checking inside the box to see if he'd nick. It's just one of them stupid gags. Anyway, it's not funny. I'll go back to me Cockney accent anyway, Dave. I think just to pull it back. But I sort of get the idea behind this. And obviously he's autistic, Malcolm, as well, isn't he? So you've got like the locals look out for him. That guy, the boss, is just having none of it. He's like, right, he'd lost his poor mum. He's on his own, and then lo and behold, we get fucking Frank who appears, this guy, who straight away I'm like, yeah, this guy's a bit fucking dodgy. But you can see Malcolm's got something about him, can't you? You see a little bit of his gadgets sort of thing. So I'm not completely hating it, but there's no way this is a fucking comedy, Dave. I'm not having that. I'm not having it. Unless there's some transatlantic thing where obviously it's an Aussie humour thing. But usually the Aussie humour translates well to the UK and vice versa, doesn't it? But I could see there's some light humour, but I just didn't get it, if that makes sense. It was... But I'll be honest, Dave, I didn't hate this movie. So I think Herb's done a good job on this one. I actually have quite enjoyed a lot of these Aussie movies that he's picked.
I think the comedy is just more subtle, is it? It's not like a punch you in the balls sort of comedy. It's like, I mean, you've got fucking bins holding up security guards with little guns in the bins.
I know.
I mean, it's just fucking ridiculous. You've got his almost James Bond-like gadgets. His car fucking splits in two and stuff. I think there is humour there. It's just, I wouldn't say it's laugh out loud funny. In fact, I saw on social media the other day, like people admitting stuff. It's like, when I type LOL, I'm not really laughing out loud. I thought, yeah, when did that become a thing? But anyway, yeah, I'm the same. It sort of feels a bit familiar. I'm like, where is this going? And of course, it's autistic in here. I'm like, this is one of my people. It's one of my clan.
I get it as well. Yeah, I was like, yeah.
But
What's
also,
your problem?
like, yeah, he seems like a stand-up bloke, hero of the movie. I mean, he was the hero of the movie, but he's definitely played to be autistic. And I thought, it is one of those movies, like you say, I would have watched this back in the day. I wouldn't have loved it, but it'd have been like watching fucking Kes or something. It's just one of those, it's on, and, there's fuck all else on. The news is on the other side or something like that of our 3 channels going into 4. And then, they just ended up watching this one.
Yeah,
but I did wonder, like, where is it going? And when, is it Frank? What's the guy's name?
Frank, the arsehole guy. Yeah, Frank.
Yeah. When he walks in, I just think, he's fucked it. He's going to steal all his stuff. And then when Judith comes in, I'm like, this is a fucking scam. They're going to scam him. And I think that's where it's going. So I was quite happy. And what I found... Again, I'll say about the comedy, I think it's more of like a charm than anything else. Because even though Frank, he's a bit of a chancer, isn't he? He's on the other side of the law. Usually, he's come out of prison. But the fact that he sees Malcolm isn't judging him. He probably spends a lot of his life being judged, but Malcolm doesn't judge him. So you start to get this bit of a warmness,
yeah,
between them. And so, he gives him a little gift. He gives him a stolen TV, and so these little moments, I think I quite liked it. I found it not like, fucking hell, like, let me pause it while I nip to the toilet. I can't miss a single minute of this. It wasn't like that. It was interesting. Intriguing, Chris. It's the second time this week.
You've charmed me, Dave. You've charmed me. No, I think you're right. There is. What's strange though, like Frank's an absolute arsehole, isn't he? And you've got this little dynamic with the pub, and you've got Judith, who she does sort of like fancy a bit of Malcolm. I think she wants to take his cherries a little bit. There's a little bit there.
Sure?
Well, there's something strange about her, isn't there? She I think because Frank's such a knob. And like, he's just a typical bloke, I suppose. They're sort of going the stereotypical Aussie, aren't they? You know, punch-ups, hot-headed, you know. Not that all Aussies are criminals, Dave, but he's a little bit of a small-time criminal. Yeah, small-time career criminal. But I think, like, what I found interesting is, like, they lean into, like, now, obviously, we're, even ourselves, you know, they call it neurodiverse, don't they? You know, ADHD, he's more aware of what people have got, how we deal with things, you know, that I think I was the same when at that moment of ADHD where I went to see them, I'd see two psychiatrists and we're doing a full assessment. And then at the end of it, the meeting was, I've said it before, the meeting was an hour. It was about an hour and 20 in and we'd overrun. And I just turned to him off and went, so do you think I've got ADHD? And you could see the exhaustion on these fucking psychiatrists go, what do you think? That's what she said, like laughing. I was like, oh.
You've broken the scale.
Yeah. There was two of them. Fucking, I think the other guy was just writing shit. And the woman, and she was laughing. She went, yeah, we don't even have to question this, Chris. And I'm like, right, okay. So I think we're more aware, but to actually sort of address it in a mid-80s style, you know, movie, Dave, you know, like lean into that and that how he can be taken advantage of and everything. He's quite interesting. I think that's what's the charm of it, is that sort of, you feel like from the get-go, Malcolm's a nice guy, but he's easily misled. You know, that's down the wrong path. And Frank takes full advantage when he realizes how clever he is with like machinery and stuff. So yeah, so I just go with it. I think it's not a great dialogue or anything, but I do sort of like the silly gadgets, and some of them don't even look out of place now, nearly 40 years ago later.
Yeah, I mean, it does lean in slightly to the trope that, he's socially awkward, so he's a fucking mechanical genius.
Yeah.
Super intelligent. But yeah, and I certainly, I get more the social awkwardness. I mean, you're a different flavor of neurodiversity to me. I definitely, when I was younger, a lot more socially awkward, and I think it's probably only, you know, moving away and getting, I mean, my job at Blockbusters, you have to deal with the fucking public, you have to deal with people, you know, so that is, and you develop this mask that you sort of put on, which is a more outgoing version of yourself. So I think I could definitely empathize with him. But like I say, I mean, you say Frank is an absolute arsehole. I don't think he is. I think he could be a worse arsehole. He's just a bit of a knob. And, you know, again, he loses Judith her job. I mean, I don't know where Judith was living before. You know, before she just fucking turned up. And again, that's what made me think it was a fucking scam. They were going to somehow just occupy his house and chuck Malcolm out. That's where I thought it was going. But I thought I sort of warmed to Frank, and even though Frank, you know, again, he's sort of probably a small-time career criminal, he doesn't coerce Malcolm into it. He doesn't coerce him to try and get him to, you know, live his life of crime. Malcolm actually comes up with that himself. You know, and so he is the one who has the agency to set on this path, you know, and rightly or wrongly. Yeah. But it's not like Frank tricked him or anything.
No, but I think I felt he overpowers him. However, Malcolm wants to please people as well, doesn't he? So you're right. There is that side of it where he's like, look at what I can do. I can help you. It's like he doesn't realize, he probably does, but he doesn't, the way it's portrayed is like he doesn't, it's like, I'm going to help you rob stuff now. You know, like morally. Yeah, well, obviously, Malcolm's been robbing fucking, you know, his Meccano set there to build his tram. Bit of foreshadowing, Dave, for later in the movie. But I did like the stupid hold up with them two security guards. When he pulls it from behind the planter and it's got a gun, radio control, Dave. Unbelievable how far that range was from Frank's house, from Malcolm's house. And obviously Frank comes in as he's talking because he's banging on the door and Malcolm's going quieter and quieter. And they're going, it's not even real. And he's like, it is real. It's a real gun. And then he comes in and then he fires the gun and they like put the money on. But that's like, they are like sort of 18 level, like toys, aren't they? Like silly inventions that they've come up with. And I mean, what they could have done was, the guns on them, but they could have probably moved pretty quick, get to the back of it, because it wasn't on a 360 axis, was it? But for the purpose of the movie, 2 silly security guards, and it does almost work other than when it falls. But I like that silliness of it. But they don't really protect the face, Frank and Malcolm, like even with the car when it splits in half.
No.
You know what it reminded me of, Dave? Is it Condor, the one with Michael? Some of us do have him, Michael Thing. Condor Man, where he's got all his gadgets and he's got that really. He probably doesn't shit the car, but I remember it.
Terrible movie.
Terrible movie, but I remember him having loads of gadgets, and this is what this sort of reminded me of. Just silly gadgets that came into play in the movie. And Michael Crawford in it. I don't know. I think I went to the cinema to watch that. I don't know why. Fucking hell, a terrible movie. But yeah, it just reminded me of that, like the 18 thing. So I think like I sort of went with it, going, well, it's the 80s. Let's go with it. But yeah, there is some like quite wholesome bits in it. You know what's not explained though? You know when Frank gets hit over the head with a spade? What's the reasoning behind that? Is that I couldn't work that out. Is he just some guy decided to smack him, or like a farmer?
I think he was a have-a-go hero, wasn't it? So he was pretending that he was holding
right.
Yeah. And then someone passing by thinks it's a real fucking stick-up sort of thing. So I think that was... Right. I admit, though, it took a minute or two after, because I was confused. The way they did it, they didn't make it obvious. I mean, I think if they'd have had a shot of this other guy and just going, oh, look, there's a robbery. Oh, let's do something. Oh, look at that. There's a shovel down there. I think if they'd have obviously not done that dialogue, but just even focused on him, just noticing the stick up, I think would have taken 2 seconds in the movie to add in. But yeah, he just sort of comes out from nowhere, doesn't he? And bashes him over the head with the shovel.
Because I thought it was someone from the pub, because Frank had a bit of a punch-up, hadn't he? Earlier, because he said like Judith was getting hit on and that, and I was thinking, is it some guy from the pub? I knew what he was doing, and then it did cross my mind, but like you say, it doesn't really show it, and that also explains why everyone was hysterically laughing in the pub, because I didn't get him. Like, he's been over the head with a shovel, but they're absolutely pissing themselves laughing, and then it's like, yeah, because he was pretending to hold them up for like acting it out for when they really do it. And this guy's like, you say, I didn't really have a go here. Dave, you just explained it. He's pickled my head that since I stopped watching it before. I was like, I don't understand that. But that makes perfect sense why that barmaid was absolutely wetting herself at him getting cracked with a fucking spade. He could have been dead, but before he was hilarious in the pub. That guy next to the radiator was fucking wetting himself, literally.
He's got a brain injury.
Yeah. Oh, it's hilarious.
More socially awkward than Malcolm now.
Yeah. His thing is Lou Ferrigno in the fucking cage.
Oh, fucking hell, cage. Yeah.
He
just needs to do some cage fighting and just punch the disability back out of him.
Yeah, the disability on your left side of your brain, crack it on the right, and you're fine. Yeah, do it Ferrigno style. What a great writing that was. Yeah. Okay, now.
But is it, so Colin Friels is the guy playing Malcolm. And I must admit, there's something, I'm assuming that is his real hair, but there's something to do with the brushed forward thing. And I was like, is that Hugo Weaving? I honestly thought that at first. I thought he looked a little bit like him, but I looked up and was like, no, it's definitely not. But definitely got a bit of a look of Hugo Weaving, I thought.
Yeah, he did, to be fair. And obviously, is he from New Zealand, Hugo Weaving? Is he a Kiwi, not an Aussie? Or maybe he's an Aussie.
I don't know. Let me have a quick look. So, right.
Go on.
You're not going to believe this. So I just brought it up on IMDb. Hugo Wallace Weaving was born on April 4th, 1960 in Nigeria.
What?
So I would not have called that. It's going to be one of those fucking colonial things, isn't it? So it says, born to English parents, Anne, a tour guide and a teacher, and Wallace Weaving, a seismologist. So it's kind of like, sounds British Empire-y, doesn't it?
Yeah. Unless he was like his old man was in the army or something, stationed everywhere.
Says during his early childhood, the Weaving family spent most of their time travelling between Nigeria, Great Britain, and Australia.
All right.
So there you go. Not New Zealand, like a load of others, but not New Zealand.
Checking Chris again as always.
Mr. Anderson. But
my name.
But yeah, so obviously not Hugo Weaving, so I had a little tangent there. But you know, again, just going back to that fucking, I feel like movies back in the 80s, some of them could just get away with having a few special moments. And I think holding up the security guards with the little remote control bins, for me, that was a fairly iconic moment. And it does seem like it's on the level of something that you might see in Biker Grove or fucking like some after school special or something like that, or I don't know, fucking Stonefish from Home and Away or something. I just, or Stony, yeah, it was Home and Away, wasn't it? Not Neighbours.
Yeah, it was Home and Away. Home and Away.
Yeah. Something, because he was a bit of a wily old character at the start, wasn't he? So, you know, something to that level. But again, I just find it quite charming. And again, I like the bond that they kind of develop with each other. And like I said about the James Bond level gadgets, but the ridiculousness. I mean, when they split the car in two, again, I'm trying to think. Could be Only Fools and Horses, could be fucking On the Buses or something like that. It's almost like a British level comedy, isn't it? You know, like just the way it's played. And then you can sort of see it teed up. Frank's thinking, oh, it's fucking great, this. Let's get Judith in the car and scare the shit out of her. So again, there were definitely moments in this movie I enjoyed.
Yeah, no, there was like I was rolling for the gadgets, and I think like with the heist as well, like the heist at the end is just fucking silly, isn't it? Like, you know, Malcolm is a genius, isn't he? Really, you know, after 250 grand. They're gonna get it basically, and it reminded me, you know, like the gadget with the money and everything. It reminded me a cross between Doc Brown and fucking Dick Van Dyke and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. You know, like when he's making a boiled egg or something, and you've got all these mechanics and cogs going, and it's just the silliness of it. And I did like the fact that when they get off in that transit van, now that is a proper UK armed robbers van, that transit van. Obviously, if you ever watched the Sweeney, you know, that's a throwback. The Sweeney in the UK, they were always, but them vans were the bank robbers delight, the Ford Transit, the proper 70s style ones. But there's a few bits where the van cracks like a wall and stuff, and I'm thinking that was not planned. That is definitely something they've just kept in the movie, because they take a wall out, a complete brick wall on one of them. But
yeah,
it's when they get the money and then they turn it into an ice cream van, and the cops are that stupid that they go past them, a vehicle that's just come from the alleyway that they're going into catch the bank robbers, and they don't go, hang on a minute, it's an ice cream, it must be them. They just run past them, don't they, like it's a cartoon. And I'm like, this makes no
Keystone
sense.
Cops stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it makes no sense. And then when they're going down the motorway, the fucking cops probably goes, I fancy an ice cream. He goes, you got the ice cream? And Matt goes, we've not got any. Well, all he would have said was, I'm thinking in my head, all I'm thinking is, you just say, oh, we've been in one of the local parks, we've run out. But no, Frank just goes, fuck that, Starsky and Hutch style, we're off, let's go. And we get a car chase, don't we? Which the police are useless, because they run away and they're about 5 yards away from the fucking abandoned ice cream van with all the stash. And the police turn and look to the right, and they've run to the left. And I'm like, they're just there. They're fucking there. And then the camera pans as if like they've run about half a mile in about 20 seconds and they're not even there. That continuity is silly, but it goes with the movie, doesn't it? It goes with the silliness of it all, like the genius of Malcolm. You know, we're going to put it into like an ice cream van, and he's got his little gadgets and that. So the gun thing as well. The little robot, I kept thinking of Johnny Five, Dave, you know, with the two guns. And it goes down the alleyway to distract him. But again, the cops are not far behind him. But for some reason, they are stormtrooper levels of stupid, Dave. And they just don't see these three people legging it with a big fucking stash of cash, do they? Ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I mean, as we're talking it through, the film's getting better in my mind.
It
to
is
be
actually,
honest.
as we're chatting. Yeah, it is, to be fair. Even for me, I think it is.
Yeah, it's weird though, isn't it? 'Cause it's a 15, and there are some, some adult theme, especially when I was surprised when we got Frank nailing fucking Judith.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, fucking hell. And I wondered what would happen because they brought that girl in who seems to be a little bit sweet on Malcolm, and that was all a bit weird. I didn't know where that was going, but obviously nothing happened there. But it leans into the adult stuff a bit more at times. But then with the gadgets and like you say, the whole heist and escape scene, it almost seems like a kid's movie, doesn't it? Like you say, Chitty Bang Bang or something. I found it a bit weird tonally.
It is weird. Some of the, and I think that maybe that's just a budget, Dave. It feels like stuff like that feels like a filler, doesn't it? We need to fill this to make it into a movie. I mean, it's 1:22 anyway, 1 hour 22, so it's not a super long movie. But yeah, maybe that's what it is. They're just trying to fill stuff out. But it did go against the tone of the movie. You are correct, because there's no need to see that for anybody to see that, really, Dave. You know what I mean? But I think, like, even I have questions, Dave, at the end as well. I have questions. So they get away, and we see Frank in Lisbon, sorry. And I believe that the actor who played Frank is actually in Lisbon, whereas the other two, that's filmed in Melbourne. So he does come out of a bank. That must be the budget, Dave. They must have given him a ticket and gone, like, we can't take the other two. So that coffee scene's filmed in Melbourne where the plotting. However, how have they got 250,000 Australian dollars through passport control and to Lisbon, and he's put them in a bank in Lisbon? Now they're looking at heisting someone in Lisbon. Explain that to me, Dave. I'm not having that.
And if they just changed it at the local currency exchange place?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I want more than that. Yeah.
What is it they have in? I guess they have the euro now, but lira was Italy. What was it? Pesetas it used to be in Spain.
Yeah, pesetas.
I wonder if you had like Portuguese pesetas or something.
I'm going to have a look right now, Dave. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's also in euro. Hang on a sec. Portuguese escudo, Dave.
I could have been here all day and not.
I never knew that.
Remember that?
In my 46 years on this planet, Dave, I didn't know it was called an escudo.
There we go. VHS Strikes Back. It doesn't just chat shit. Sometimes you learn shit as well.
You do, and if you go on Google, you can probably learn it a lot quicker than what Chris and Dave can send to you. Well, there you go.
VHS Strikes Back. Just a shit chat GPT.
With terrible Australian Cockney accents, but we're here all day. Yeah, I know it well.
What the hell do you mean, you bloody drongo?
Well, I'm not being funny, mate. If you want to go for a barbie, I don't want...
Cheers, Ray Winston.
Hey, no problem, mate. Don't worry about it. I'll get them fucking slags out there. Don't you worry about that. Let's go and rob a fucking bank now. Come on. Oh, he sounds like an Australian native. Are you from Melbourne? Nah, mate. I'm from Camden. Nah, don't worry about that.
Well, on that note, Chris, should we get into our final review?
Let's fucking go, mate. So, Dave, I have had so much fun with this. The fucking accents in them trailers are getting even worse from me. I mean, and you are actually the one who's got a better talent when it comes to doing the voices. But there you go.
I can't do an Aussie though. I can do a stupid, like, attempted Al Stewart, but yeah, the Aussie is usually way off.
Yeah, I'm way off with an Aussie accent, 100%. Now, I heard fit this one, and you know what? I think you're right. As we were talking about, it's got a little bit better in my eyes, actually, now, in the retrospect. It's just a wholesome movie, isn't it? I can see why it got all the reviews. It's something completely different. And they did set it up for a sequel, which I don't think was ever made, but it was one of them things where they could have been a bit of a team up there. Let's go and do another bang. Let's do it again. Malcolm, goes for something else. Maybe he's trying to nick the crown jewels of London or whatever, or the Queen's fucking, I was going to say fucking the Queen's helmet, Dave, at this time, but that's not right. The Queen's fucking fucking helmet. Crown, what the fuck? That's more fucking Prince Philip's helmet. But anyway,
The Queen's helmet. Sounds like it might be a different movie.
Yeah, it does, to be fair. I think it was on the same shelf as Wet Nurses 2 that one day, if I remember the Queen's helmet. But there you go. No, I did enjoy it. I really did. I mean, look, I'm not being funny. I'm not going to watch it again. But I think just the fact that Herb's picked it, it's another Aussie classic. I can see why it's a classic. I think I'm going to put it in Elm Street, but the top of Elm Street. It's not good enough to go Hill Valley, but I had so much fun talking about this. And it is a good movie. It's on YouTube. If you don't like it, there is always the speed up option on YouTube. So if you do want to speed it up, you can do. But I didn't. It's an hour and 20 odd. It's worth watching. And I think a lot of people get out of this more than probably I want. Look, at the end of the day, he's not got booby calls. He's not got fucking Lauren Aradon doing splits or Van Damme Dave. So it's always going to be marked down slightly. But I did enjoy it. So yeah, good pick. So what about yourself?
Yeah, I'm not too far away, to be honest. It's an Elm Street for me. I feel like it was quite slow. It took a while for me to orient myself into what was the type of movie I'm seeing, because like you said, it's not a laugh out loud comedy. And so I thought it was going to be more of a serious drama. And so when Frank moves in, I'm thinking it's going to be how he chucks Malcolm out, and it's all going to be just very dramatic. And then it just takes a weird turn where, you know, they go off on this heist, and so it becomes a heist movie. And so yeah, I think I was just confused mostly, but definitely reflecting back on it, I think there was some really charming moments in the movie, and I think, you know, it was acted to the level that I expect from an Aussie movie in '86. But yeah, again, Elm Street for me, I definitely not one that I'll be rushing to watch. But if I was hungover on the sofa on a Sunday and it came on the TV, I would watch it again. I probably wouldn't muster the energy to reach for the remote control.
True. I'll be nowhere near it, Dave. But I appreciate the honesty. Now, next week, Dave, is one of our longest supporters, Dave, and someone who supports us across the CD reality cast, well, Chris and Dave's reality TV cast. It's Lucky Lulu Green. Now, Dave, when I saw this in the actual calendar, I thought, oh, this is must be like a TV movie. That's an extension from the very successful TV show from the 90s that was on Sky One nearly every week, Dave. Now, the original, I wasn't a massive fan of. However, I did like Angel, which was a split off day, so that's what gives it away. So we are going back, Dave, to 1992, the original movie starring Luke Perry, Dave, and I don't know, Kristen Swanson, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So I was going to say the old classic line, let's get into the trailer, but nobody needs more Cockney Chris or Aussie Dave. But that's what we're doing next week, and I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, so, and this one, I do remember when the TV show came out, there was loads on the Blockbuster shelves there. In the older movies, I think it was the action bit. We had the original 92 Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So I've seen this once before. I'll keep my powder dry for next week. And I am going to get enjoyment out of you watching it, though, I have to say. But no, fantastic pick.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I am really looking forward to it. So, as always, if you do want to support us, please get over to patreon.com/the VHS Strikes Back. If you want to follow us on social media at VHS Strikes Back. And if you want to email us, the VHS Strikes Back @gmail.com. So just before we get into the roll call of honor, Dave, I want to congratulate our good friend and patron, Mr. Mike Burton, and his wonderful wife, Megan, who are expecting a young Padawan, Dave, in November this year. So congrats to them both, Dave. Now, Chris is always a nice name as a middle name, just throwing it out there, or Lauren, or, you know, anything like that. But no, massive congrats to Mike and Megan. Great news, and it's part of the Comics in Motion family as well. Mike's been a good friend for a good few years now.
Absolutely amazing stuff. Really, really happy for them. Hopefully they can get in as much sleep as possible until the big day. And then, yeah, great stuff for the next 20 years or so.
Yeah. No, it'd be good. Well, I mean, we're obviously, we've got
amazing
grown
stuff.
up. It is. There's nothing like it. And as soon as, your baby comes into the world, you realise how selfish you are as a person. I think, you do.
That is
Your
true,
priorities change.
yeah.
Priorities do change. No, I'm really excited for them both. And Dave, I am running a book as well. I did say it on Facebook when I congratulated Mike and Megan. I think Leia is the 2-to-1 favourite. If it's a girl, Dave, I've got to say.
So I don't know. I'm going for more of an outside bet. I think Kanan could be there, one of Mike's favourites. So Darth Maul, maybe. No, possibly not.
Not
But
Jar
yeah,
Jar.
so
Not Jar
it's got-
Jar.
Oh, fucking hell,
Imagine
definitely not Jar Jar.
Bird.
Oh my god.
No. That's not happening, Mike. Not happening. And he's now punching his phone or wherever he's listening to us going, you do Bella and shut up. But yeah.
No,
great news.
Amazing, as you said.
Yeah, it is. It really is. So no, looking forward to a little Burton coming into the world, Dave. That'll be great for them. And they'll have a great Christmas as well. So really good stuff. Not a lot of sleep, as you said, but a great Christmas. So anyway, roll call of honour to, and a big thank you to Nick, Greg, Gareth, Mike again, Lee, Helen, Dylan, Dan, Justin, Susan, Timothy, Matt, Hales, Kent, Lucky the Green, Herbs, Jack, Matt Blake, John Hammond and Mr. Tony Farina. So thank you so much, guys, for all your support. And great stuff again, Dave. And I'm looking forward to next week because it should be interesting because this led into the TV show, how we go with this. And I was a bit of a fan of Luke Perry. I did like his haircut, Dave, early 90s. Always was a bit suspect that he was in Beverly Hills 90210 as Dylan. And he always had a bit of a receding hairline and he was supposed to be in high school. I think he
like 30.
Yeah, I mean, you think, what's it called? Fingy Priestley. He was like the bit of a stiff. He was a good Jason Priestley. Luke Perry was always like the proper sexy guy he wanted to be and like be the cool or getting all the chicks. But that receding hairline was always justified by, he's had to come back and resit. And was like, what? From fucking 10 years ago. But anyway, Dave, we went with it. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, and you say about his hair, if I remember something, I'm sure we'll discuss that next week. But anyway, Chris, for our little musical number this week, what I was thinking about is obviously the central character of Malcolm, and I know Frank and Judith are there as well, but Malcolm's the title of the movie, isn't he? But definitely our main protagonist there. And I was thinking back to, like almost socially aware songs. And I was thinking back to the early 80s where you had things like Making Plans for Nigel. Remember that one?
Oh, God, yeah.
And, I Don't Like Mondays, the Boomtown Rats. Kind of in that headspace of just having this central character and having that real mod kind of approach, that feel to it. And I was thinking, even in my head this week, I was imagining there's two vocalists, the main vocalist and the background vocalist. I was thinking, on the video, you've got that old grainy kind of early 80s look, and you've got someone looking straight into the camera who's the main vocalist, but when the backing vocalist comes in, he sort of appears on the side, to give his backing vocals and stuff. So anyway, thought about it way too much this week. So I should shut up and we should just get into Hey Malcolm.
Hey Malcolm, you had to tram through the city. Malcolm, he's quite clever, Malcolm, Malcolm. He's got a shed full of gears and springs. Built a tram with some old stuff and things. Doesn't say much, just tinkers away. But when it's time, he'll save the day. Hey Malcolm, he loves the tram through the city. Malcolm, he's quite clever, Malcolm, Malcolm. Malcolm, Malcolm. No need for guns or fancy plans. Just a brain that fills with clever hands. Malcolm's got his own style and flair. Quiet thinker who's always there. Hey Malcolm, Malcolm, who likes to tram through the city. Malcolm, he's quite clever, you know. Malcolm, Malcolm, Malcolm. Sometimes he's quiet, sometimes he's fast. Living in a world that's moving too fast. Hey Malcolm, Malcolm, who rides a tram through the city. Malcolm, he's quite clever, you know. Malcolm, Malcolm, Malcolm. Hey Malcolm, Malcolm. Hey Malcolm, Malcolm. Hey Malcolm, Malcolm. Malcolm, Malcolm, Malcolm.
Very 80s, that, Dave. Definitely.
Yeah.
Very Geldof.
Like I say, a little bit, early 80s is where I was kind of in that headspace. Just that more socially aware music. I'm sure there's lots of socially aware stuff in the 60s and 70s, but actually focusing on a type of person, an actual character, then I associate that more to the early 80s.
No, it's a good one. It's like in between punk and new wave stuff.
Definitely new wave,
yeah, 100%. No, it's really good, that, man. Good song again, and just a good movie. Honestly, I said before, I'd definitely recommend people watching it.
Yeah, on 1.5.
yeah, 2, even better. But there you go.
So anyway, so thank you very much for that. Thanks to all our supporters out there. Thanks to all our listeners, and we'll speak to you next time.
Bye.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I'll be back.
That's odd. We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Wax on, wax off. One ring to go. All right. Ding, ding. Bust you up. Go for it.
Well, here we go. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Come on. Ain't so bad. Ain't nothing. Come on. You must be crazy or something. I'm crazy. You just a stupid. Yeah, maybe you crazy. I ain't breathing heavy. He's a fool. He's stupid. I've seen you at 6 miles.
I must break you.